Bullet for blue. Oh, these are the Sundara. And not to be confused with their $4,000 Susfara? I don't know. I consider these the most advanced set of HiFiMans currently out. They have a new headband design. They actually look stylish. They're built really well, which is, anyone who's played with HiFiMan before knows that's not normally the case. And on top of all that, I love them. I'm in love with them, and we're going to run away together and go somewhere. Stock pads haven't changed. A few things we have to talk about comfort-wise that I think could do differently, but overall, gonna be a startlingly insane recommendation. Like, Thigh Audio Phantoms are these, and it's like, well, the Thigh Audio Phantoms are the most moddable, but you have to take the backs off, and it's not bad if you change the pads, and they're not built really that great. These are built better than something else, just in general. That's a miracle. They come in this box it's designed to sit in a shelf this way, which is strange. Usually headphones are this way, and it's got that way. And you look inside of it, and it's just a big old fluffy thing of whatever cheap, not velvet. It's not velvet. It's not silk either. I've got my wires hooked up to 3 different amplifiers because I was insistent before I sat down for this final listen that these things needed to be on like a $2,000 Italian amp. It had to be. But then when I blind tested myself, because I do occasionally blind test myself where I take the leads which look exactly the same and I put them all together, and then I sort of shuffle up this wire in a bit and I can't tell what it is, and then I start going and I'm like, all right, I bet you're the atom because you're not balanced. These are both balanced amplifiers. The reference and the THX79 are both balanced, and I bet the JDS Labs, which is 1/4 inch, I bet you that one's the one that sounds the least wide. And I'm like, I tried to pick and choose between them for this set of headphones, and I was completely fucking wrong. And I don't understand, because I'm usually really good at that. I know what my amps sound like, and these headphones have ruined me. They've made me doubt everything. So they sound good on everything. They sound a little, there's a touch of difference going from balanced to single-ended. Just a touch. And then going between the 2 balanced amplifiers, well, it's just like this one's a little bit softer, and that one's much more accurate, which makes perfect sense, but I was sort of rooting for the reference amp to play these, because for some reason the reference amp on a planar is like the ultimate. Like the ultimate. That's why I put the old Bravos on the reference amp, because they're mostly planar. But sitting here with the $100 Atom, I'm, even on single-ended, I'm hard picked to be like, say, well, is this bad now? I think these have cohesively a better sound than most planars under $500. Yes, the Thigh Audio Phantoms. Zeos, you just said the Thigh Audio Phantoms are great, and they are great. But I changed the pads on them, and I had to open the back on them. And it was sort of like this and that. And I think those have the potential to be better than lots of things. But as far as just say, like, take them out of the box, plug them in, and use them and enjoy the shit out of them, it's gotta be these Sundaras. Gonna be these. These were $500 for the longest time, and they sat in my Amazon cart. And eventually they ticked down to $350, and I'm like, all right, $350 is like the number that everything's currently going for. You can get M1060Cs, pull the backs off, then you got to change the pads on those, and you got to take the backs off, so you got to do a thing. And the headband on that is fucking garbage. And the headband on the Thigh Audio Phantom is like, oh, it's a Beyerdynamics, so that's like, it's like a cheap Beyerdynamics headphone. And this headband, it's like someone actually figured out how to do it. Comfort strap. Someone killed it. Comfort strap. The spring, the metal spring is here, only in the center, not the entire thing around. This section is plastic, but it's like okay. Like it's okay. Like usually it's not okay. And then the slide, while I'd say it like it'll fall down with just gravity, it still feels solid. And the reason it feels solid It's because this headphone doesn't have any ability to pivot this way. Oh, it came back to life. So you can bend it a little bit, but that's not designed to wiggle. Usually when these things slide in and out and can also rotate, they just aren't robust. So HiFiMan's decision was just fuck it. I don't think it's worked out, because even though they don't tilt that way, and even though the pads are only very slightly angled, see, that's thicker there than it is there, and these are a hybrid pad. We've got perforations, we've got fabric, and we've got solid pleather on the outside. Even though that's the thing, that's the limitation factor, it's still comfortable. It still looks good. And then on top of all that, it sounds good. So for $350, this is probably... Hold on, trying to adjust. It's tight. You know how it was sliding up and down? It does not do that when you apply any sort of outward tension. So when you let go and you're putting them away at the end of the day, and there's nothing squeezing against them, you might... No, see, I can't get them to fall out now. And they certainly won't fall out when you adjust them and then stretch them over your giant cranium. So, sound. Sound requires you to amplify them. I know. We did the Atom. I had the FIO. This is the new K5 Pro. Oh, here's the stock cable, by the way. I'm going to plug this back in so I can listen to music.
His face is red like a rose.
They're delicate. They feel more delicate. They feel like they handle sound like a nurse would handle a newborn baby. Actually, no, I take that back. Because I've seen some vetted nurses handle babies like they're like bags of rice. They just grab by the leg and like, yep, that baby's fine. Because they know the baby's not going to get hurt, but everyone else sees it and is horrified. The stock cable doesn't come with a case either. I mean, for $500 I'd be upset. $350 I don't really mind. Stock cable is probably better than the other cables that come with like the Edition XX. Certainly the Edition XX. That thing, they could have come with a piece of string and just had at the end of the string as you pulled it out of the box and said, please buy a cable elsewhere. And that would have been better than giving me the cable from the Edition XXs. The only problem I have is I haven't tried to stretch it out, but it's got that little bit of it's just holding that weird shape and it bounces. Like a nice fabric cable like this. Even if it holds weird shape, it doesn't bounce. It just lays there. This will never just lay there. It does that. So I don't like that. But metal, right angle, got the adapter. It's thick. It's not sticky rubber. I hate the sticky rubber more than anything. It's the wrong feel. And it's also the wrong length. This is very much like a portable length. Maybe it's just enough for a desk. What do we got here? It's just under 5 feet. Or maybe it is 5 feet. I don't know, don't measure. Right angles are weird on a desk though. If your intention is desktop, go straight in. I want to plug straight in. Because there's no fucking way to plug into like an Atom without it going up or sideways, and that's weird. So that's weird. I give this a solid B-. Maybe a C. All right, we're going to give that a C. I know people want me to do ratings like numbers and letters, and I refuse to, because then they're going to go back 7 months to a video I put out, and they say, well, you gave this a B-, now you gave this a B+, why? And I'm going to be like, that was 7 months ago. Do you know what happened in 7 months? Neither do I! I'm not going to have things that are... That's why all my reviews, a little bit of an acknowledgement here, all my reviews on sound are rather vague. Because I can't say this is this and then be done with it, because I don't remember in 2 weeks what I said about a headphone. And then when people ask me, I have to go back. And I have to, it's all about a feeling. What feeling do these headphones give me that another headphone, I can remember feelings, great. You try to remember specifically with a numbered value the amount of soundstage, that's going to be shifting variably based on what I'm listening to at the time and where I am in the world. What headphones did I hear the last 3 weeks that have affected the way I think this sounds? Maybe I've listened to the OH10s too much, and my opinions of soundstage are like, well, every headphone's not got soundstage enough. So even though I'm giving these like a C, That doesn't mean in the future I give something else a C, it isn't better or worse than that, depending on what I've seen. Back on task. The Abyss headphones, right? The Abyss planars have the thinnest, they're the thinnest headphone, the thinnest membrane, they're lighter than Stax, and that should mean that their detail is insane, and they have just the most control over what's happening with the sound because of how thin it is and how fast they can move it. Yet this somehow feels more delicate. Like there's just like, this is a Childish Gambino, The Night Me and Your Mama Met. And it's just like a very gentle licks of a guitar or ukulele, and there's some echo in there. And there's, I know when people are saying, oh, something's grainy, I know what that means. And this feels like there's no grain in the sound. It just happens softly. Even though that's a sharp, trebly sound, it's happening softly. And I know that's partly because the reference amp is being used, and I can switch that out. Something more attainable. To the Atom. Definitely on this particular sound. And here's another thing I gotta judge. I'm basing now the difference between this $2,500 Italian reference amp to this $100 American-made single-ended, just based on that guitar. I can have to go through my library 100 times. So just like the little sound better on the reference is more of an echo. And I think that's got to do with balance more than just amp quality, because it's a damn good amp, and on some songs I can't tell them apart. Or I pick this over that. Bass response. Let me get to another song that's actually got... Oh, Foo Fighters does not have bass response, but it's very loud. Jesus Christ. Hi, Hestia. Is Hestia Bestia? Please say so in the comments. Or would she be nothing without that blue ribbon? There should be an entire season dedicated to her losing her ribbon, and then just no one gives a shit about her anymore. That'd be great. Shika Shika Slim Shady. By the way, this is the unmastered edition, so it's not blown out. Even though it looks like it's a brick wall, it's not. They're not bass queens. Let me go to Oh Mama, because that's the test. It's gonna find it. It's gonna find it. Did it find it? See, that's like... That doesn't go together at all. I think it's the pads doing it. Because there's bass, but I would never say to anyone who's a bass head, oh, you need Sundaras. These are far more of an accurate side, which again, I know. HiFiMan. I know. One of the cheapest models. I know. Accuracy. I know. I know it doesn't make any sense. I'm not here to make sense. I'm here to make sex with your ears. So I'm listening to Run the Jewels, and the bass line comes in and it hits. And it's like, oh. And that's it. That's it. There's the Thigh Audio Phantoms. If you are a bass head, that is where this line splits. I've lost some of you, and I've gained some of you. Because I'd say there are at least as many people who are just like, well, if it doesn't have quality fucking loving bass, I'm not interested. Then maybe you're not interested in these. Because I think these are more mid-range, vocals, treble, imaging and soundstage. Imaging. HD 600s? Soundstage? Better than HD 600s. But if you don't know, by the way, if I just make a reference like that, and you've never been to a Z Reviews before, hi, how you doing? If I say HD 600 levels of imaging, that's very good. That's an A. Like, I hear like it wants to make bass, but it's definitely the pads are just... If you swapped pads on this, and put solid pads, you'd either have no bass or murder bass. And then if you put velours on here, which are like way open pads, you either have no bass or murder bass. That varies every headphone. And I'm not going to start swapping pads for no reason. I love these with their stock pads. It sounds so open and the word is natural. These sound natural. If you needed me to, there it is. That's the review. Sum up the review in one word: natural. Not even like Robert Redford, like better than Robert Redford, the natural. They just have no complications. I've been putting off this. I had the sound demo done for weeks. And I've had these here while the Thyreo Phantom's in here, and I had these here while the Abyss were here, and I keep going back to them and holding off the review because I don't know. It's very hard to find the words, and I don't prep for these reviews. I just turn it on and I see what I say, which is fun, isn't it? And I have to sort of come up with it as I'm on the fly here. And the last listens, usually before the review, I could figure out what I'm going to say, and even then I did not know. And I'm just sitting here now with you guys, and this is still a journey of discovery. That's amazing. Zeos, you've had these for weeks. How do you not know what to fucking say? Because sometimes I just don't know what to say. Because people accuse me of being a shill. People accuse me of fucking straight up lying. People accuse me of being just a dick. Or Polish. I'm quarter Polish. It's fine. The most honest reviews I can give you are ones I have no preparation for. I made up my mind before this review that, oh, they're going to sound great, but only on that amp. That goes all out to shit now, because when that sounds just as good on certain things, then I switch, and then there's that violin, and you know what, that doesn't sound as good as this. Then I put the 79 on, and well, that's the most neutral. And I just love these things. I like these headphones. I more than like these headphones. I'm keeping these headphones. Are they going to make it on my wall? Probably. You know what? The advanced alphas are coming off my wall. All right. These were very amp dependent and very violent. And the thing is, I've got very non-amp dependent and also mostly violent Sendy Ivas. Do you see Sendys in that wall? No, because I can't fit them, so they're sitting around here somewhere. Put that down. Here's the block. Sundara is on my goddamn wall. So what does that mean? I don't know. It's just some things need to come and some things need to go. And this is a nicer, more, even though that was comfortable enough, but it wasn't as the clamp was murderous, and they fixed it with the new one, but that's not the new one, that's the original one. I respect these more than those, so they get on my wall. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen to some more songs, and I'm going to use these headphones to judge between the Atom and the K5 Pro, because that's what I think they're for. Like right here. What is this? Next. If every HiFiMan from this point on is this well built, this pretty, and sounds at least this good but with different attributes, throw money at HiFiMan. Period. Of course, they've been on the fence for the last few years, and I've been guilty of like giving them a lot of leeway. Like, I'm gonna just stab myself every time I say like. But I'm sorry. I haven't been this excited for a HiFiMan since the HE 400 and 500, the oldest of old school shit. HE 4XX. I love those things. I keep them in my car. They had the old school headband. This is better than the old school headband. They finally beaten it. I did the Edition XXs. Just did them 3 weeks ago. And they're great because of that big design. And the headband isn't stupid. And you power them and they're just about good enough. That's my thing. They're they just about good enough? Yeah. These are better than I expected on most amplifiers. And the only negative I have is that they don't articulate this way, and that they're a little bass light. But I'm okay with that. I'm not out there if you are a headphone shopper, which I'm assuming a bunch of you are, and you are looking for me to tell you which headphone is perfect, there are none. There is none headphone perfect. Even Hestia has issues. I haven't watched that show, and I know for a fact she's not perfect. And these are not perfect. And none of those are perfect. And the day I find a perfect headphone is the day I start lying to you. So take it as you must. Sundara are going on my wall. Advanced Alpha is coming off. Sound demo's in the description. Hestia, the imperfect Hestia, is in the description. And I don't know what else to say. I didn't mention soundstage because it's not super wide, but I think that goes with the motif. Usually you get super wide and bass at the same time. Well, my X1s over there, they're not X2s. Argons. There's no one's going to argue that they're not extremely wide and have a lot of bass. I think when you tuck it in, Audio-Technica 2000X, I think when you tuck in, you get that imaging, you get that clarity, you keep it finessey. You sort of can't put... It's very hard to put studio monitors, like really accurate, precise studio monitors, 20 feet from you. You've got to bring them in. You've got to get intimate with it. They're not HC600 narrow. Almost nothing is that narrow. There were the Audio-Technica 70Xs, which were the most narrow. Then the 600s, and then everything else is sort of like, it's just out from there. And these are better than that as far as soundstage. And that's all I gotta say. If you want to see these reviews early, my patrons get them at least a week early. They're also, if you're a patron, $5 or higher, you get to participate in the yard sales, where you will be able to bid on my advanced alphas with the original cable, and I will cry a little bit. They've been up my wall for a long time, but I gotta prove point. These are an amazing fucking headphone for $350, and they should be in your collection if you have need for what I'm describing. A little less low end, not quite wide, but just pure. I want to listen to babies breathing. That's weird. No, not that. But like, just like ASMR. Here you go. ASMR headphones. In fact, I'll title it that or something. Because ASMR, you don't need much low end. And you just need a good, peaceful, soft, intimate relationship with the music. And that's what that'll do. And I said music. Well, you know what you're listening to, you sick bastards. That's it for today. There is a sound demo. It's in the description. I hope it came out well. Planars don't record super good on the Neumann mics because magnets. But whatever. This review is finally done, and I've worked through my feelings here on camera with you. And I hope most of you stuck around to experience that. Because it's hard for me to do reviews of things like this. Because I want to love it so much, but I could just hear the backlash. And I'm trying to have arguments with people before the video is even done being recorded. And I don't like arguing. I just like listening to music. And I like to like everything. Things have to really piss me off for me to give a negative review. You have to piss me the fuck off. Anyway, I'm done. You're done. We're done. See you tomorrow.